and I'm like, what is AI? And I started thinking, it's like your magical book of incantations.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Brainiac Blueprint, where we discuss the intersection of AI and how it impacts business and the world around us with our esteemed guests. I'm your host, Kyle Lambert, founder of Left Brain AI and Action Hero Marketing. In today's episode, we discuss how to find the right contacts and data for your real estate business. And as we're going to talk about even other real estate or non-real estate businesses now, you guys are expanding. With that being said, today's Brainiac is Drew Fabrikant. How are you, Drew?
Hey, Kyle. Excited to have been called a Brainiac. That's a new one for me.
Hey, man, you got a wealth of knowledge over there. So I'm excited to tap into it.
I'll take it. Action hero, Brainiac. I love them all.
That's right. That's right. Well, Drew, you are the founder and CEO of Scout. People can check you out at trustscout.com. You guys do a lot of really cool stuff in terms of data and finding the right people to grow different businesses. So if you don't mind, just tell everybody a little bit about you and Scout.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been working in the proptech space and tech in general for a little over a decade now. And we started as an algorithmic lead routing platform. And we were going out and kind of working through the SEM space, and things got really expensive very quickly. And it just became very hard, I think, to pull through conversions in a meaningful way and sustain ROI. So, as we kept going on our journey, we were working really a lot in the home services and residential real estate space. And what we found was there's a book out there, and I'm sure you've read it or have heard of it. It's called Predictable Revenue by Aaron Ross.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like many people's sales Bibles. And for those of you who don't know, Aaron Ross was the guy who scaled Salesforce using this strategy, and he kind of put together this blueprint for outbound sales. And I was looking at a couple of industries, and I said, wow, residential real estate is like absolutely perfect for this one. And nobody was doing it, right? Nobody was executing outbound in a meaningful way, and predictability around revenue was such a big pain point in this industry. So we said, okay, challenge accepted. Let's see if we can go do it. And actually had a friend who really kind of like put our feet to the fire there. And he was looking for a home in Brooklyn, and couldn't find anything, kept on getting outbid. And he said, hey, I need you to go get like everybody's contact information who lives in this neighborhood, in this building, and just like reach out to them. I was like, I'm lazy. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But what I could do was hire a data team and get a data team to start, pulling data and pulling the right data, and then executing meaningful outreach. And I think, about 45 days later, we were in contract for $2 million. And then it became scalable and repeatable. And we realized, okay, this doesn't just work in theory. This is something that, if executed well, can grow and scale. And with the presence of AI, it's even gotten better. I mean, you can say there's more noise, but what Scout is today, it's about a 256 million consumer database. It's the largest consumer database in the US. We have about 1 billion phone numbers, 1 billion emails. We have about 550 different demographic data points, and we actually monitor signal for certain types of events across 35,000 websites. Majority of that is around mortgage data. So are people looking for a mortgage? Are they looking to buy or sell a home? And we build propensity models on top of that. So like you said, we work a lot in residential real estate, home services, but we also work with politicians and mortgage platforms and all sorts of different customers.
That's awesome. I remember. So we originally connected at the New York Real Estate Expo, and you kind of showed some of the power that the Scout platform has. And at the time, I was having a conversation with someone who's looking to target high net worth people, and you're like, "Oh, follow me, check this out," and just went and showed all the different information that you had. It's very cool. All the different connections, all the data points that you have as a marketer. I was just like, ping, 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 like seeing all the light bulbs go off. So I love to see it. And you mentioned the integration of AI right on your homepage. Find and engage your ideal customers 10 times faster with AI. This seems like, having the data points, then having AI to superpower it really is driving some success for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is a marketer's dream, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's your unfair advantage. It's having a heat-seeking missile directly to your ideal customer, and that's
Mhm.
kind of what we say. It's like find your ICP, know the right person, the right thing to say, and reach out at the right time. And if you can do all of those things right, and a couple of other things at the same time, so this is it's not as easy as it sounds. Um, you're halfway up the mountain.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, as you know, I have all of our Brainiacs finish the prompt, I think AI is. So if you don't mind, kind of set the stage for us.
I think AI is. So when we talked about this before, I think my gut reaction was AI is scary,
Yeah.
right? But I didn't want to go there, and I was thinking about this last night, and I'm up at like 3:45 a.m. and I'm like finishing a deck that we're about to send out to like a major enterprise, and like this deck is wild. It's we're running predictive modeling analysis and doing like crazy AUC ROC analysis, and we're kind of benchmarking how good our predictive technology is, which I'm realizing like the deck is built by AI and
Mm-hmm.
the models are built by AI and the data is cleaned using AI. And I'm like, what is AI? And I started thinking, it's like your magical book of incantations.
Okay. I like that.
And I say that a little bit in jest, but also it is kind of spot on. There's like a magic language where if you get it right, it works. And if you get it wrong, it doesn't work.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the
And
day,
really bad things happen.
and really bad things happen. Yeah. Expecto patronum. I don't even know what that means.
Exactly.
But it's one of those things where if you know the right language, if you know the right prompts, if you know the right inputs, you can kind of make anything happen. And it really does become magic on the other side when you get to see some of these things that you didn't even know you were capable of. So AI is a magical book of incantations.
Very cool. I'm thinking about going to Google VO right now and having it make an image of you like with a cauldron or something like that, in like a black robe or something. Very cool. Very cool. So let's jump in a little bit more here. So touch on the top part of Scout here. So you're the founder. Obviously, you're filling this need for additional data and touch points, but correct me if I'm wrong, you have a little bit of a legal and finance background prior to this, right? So kind of a big switch. What kind of like lessons or adjustments did you have to make? It's obviously total different brain waves, if you will.
Oh yeah. So kind of going back to the beginning of my career, I actually worked in sports first, and
Okay.
I was working at the NFL Players Association as a salary cap and agent administration intern in law school, and
Mm.
and that kind of launched my career into law, but also into sports. And then I went to the largest global law firm in the world in terms of revenue, a firm called Skadden Arps, and I was doing some M&A work. That's what they're known for, financial institutions. So helping to buy and sell banks uh, during a lot of the mortgage craze, and I think for me, law was always it was a way to think. And it really teaches you
Yeah.
how to think in a different way and question a lot of things and not make assumptions, but also uh, see things in shades of gray that a lot of people don't really think about.
Hmm.
Um, and I went from law. I did maybe like 3.5, 4 years at Skadden, and then I went down to Wall Street and started a multifamily office with a partner down there, and we kind of built that and scaled it. But my heart was always in scale and growth and kind of like building predictability around
Sure.
around things and just being an architect in general. So law and finance, and then caught the real estate bug. Did real estate development in Brooklyn, which I thought was a ton of fun. Actually used the Scout platform to go buy a ton of air rights. So we bought like 17,000 square feet in air rights
That's cool.
to build on top.
I've
And
been hearing a lot about air rights recently. It's very, very interesting. A whole new world, if you will.
Yeah, it's I don't think we should go off on that tangent,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, it's a way to kind of like add a tremendous amount of value in a very creative way. If you can get in touch with the right people. And when you
Yeah.
talk about getting in touch with the right people, I know that I'm going to keep bringing it back here because this is what marketing and sales is about, right?
Hmm.
Um, if you can target the right people, if you can find exactly who you need to reach out to, and air rights has to be like a contiguous um set of like neighbors, like it has to touch the block. If you
Right.
go across the street, like it no longer applies. So you have to be meticulous and hyper focused in your marketing to know exactly who to reach out to. So yeah, we were able to use this system to pinpoint the exact people to reach out to. Ended up having a bunch of conversations with some, new neighbors, and bought some air rights and built a stunning building in Gowanus, Carroll Gardens. Um, yeah, so real estate later, and then I think the whole entire world got eaten by tech long ago, and I just kind of rode that wave.
Might as well, right? You got to adjust, otherwise you're going to get left behind. So that makes perfect sense. So before we jump into kind of a demo of the platform, I'm kind of curious if you could just walk us through if a real estate agent or a team or an organization were to partner with you, what does that look like from day one? What can they expect?
That's a good question. So our platform is fairly self-service, and we service everybody from the smallest to the largest. You can be an individual real estate agent who's trying to boost your business. I got a text message yesterday from a guy who he's probably like the poster child of success on our platform. He signed up and he wanted to reach out to local sellers in his area, in his market, and he ended up with around $7 million in new listing presentations in a 30-day window when he turned
Wow.
on the Scout campaign. And he was all excited. He called me up one day, and I was like, guy's named Gary. I was like, Gary, stop, stop, stop. We have to wait to get this on video. And he like couldn't help the words coming out of his mouth. But it turns out we were able to find somebody who was looking to sell their place using the data. We put together a lot of personalized emails. We send him out on his behalf. So like he's sleeping, he wakes up the next morning and he's got something in his inbox saying, "Hey Gary, thanks so much. I'm actually interviewing real estate agents right now, and I'd love to talk." He goes on the listing presentation, does a pitch, and turns out this woman is a teacher, and she
Okay.
said, I never respond to cold emails, but yours was so well written and so well timed that I had to give you a shot.
That's awesome.
So he's
The
like,
perfect case study right there.
perfect case study. So he ends up winning the listing against a bunch of other agents. We had nothing to do with that, but he's so excited that he just landed his first deal through email. So he calls his wife and he's like, "You'll never believe it." And she goes, "You'll never believe it. So and so just dropped by my store and said they got your email and they want to interview you for a listing." He landed two in like a 24-hour span.
Oh my God, that's beautiful right there.
Yeah. So, bring it back to yesterday. He just turned the campaign back on. He landed another $5 million in listing presentations in 3 days. Um,
Wow.
so what does it look like? It's you kind of bring your end goal. What's your end goal? What do you need? What do you need to accomplish? And start with the end in mind and bring it back from there. Build your ideal customer profile. Um, Determine what your goal is in your marketing campaign and how that attaches to your ideal customer profile, and then let it go. Everything hooks up to email. So what Scout is doing in the background is putting together this ICP, hyper targeted, geo fenced, whatever you want, attaching that to marketing campaigns, and then letting them go on your behalf and hitting the inbox with like a 98% primary deliverability rate, so you're not getting stuck in spam. And we built in all the best practices around email, so it kind of works for you.
It's cool to hear those the success stories, especially since as a an entrepreneur and a business owner myself, I know how annoying but how powerful cold email can be, and having to personalize and get it out there, and just how deliverability is such a pain. So it's great to hear that you guys have this built into it, and there are some wins to be had, of course, and I'm sure there's many other success stories there. So great job, I guess. Good job seeing it all kind of come together here. So I think this is a perfect time. Let's jump into a little demo. Just show everybody kind of what the platform looks like, and we've talked again about our audiences and ICPs, so we can see how all the different data points that people can use to slice and dice.
Absolutely. So you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. I may have to log back in. It looks like I got kicked out of Gmail. But what most people do when they open up the platform is they'll come to a page like this with a bunch of campaigns, campaign library, and we've got everything for every different industry. So if you're in lobbying and politics, or you're in real estate or mortgage, or moving and storage, it doesn't matter. You'll see things that are relevant for your industry. Now, where most people go to from here is a map. They're always trying to find new customers. And by the way, this works for an existing list of leads too. So if you have a CRM with, say 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people in it, you need more information on those individuals. You just throw your CSV right into Scout. We can enrich all that data for you, tell you about them.
Very cool.
So, you've got predefined segments, and here's your high net worth or ultra high net worth segment, right? And that was the one that we connected on.
Yeah.
You've also got things like, seniors, likely sellers, likely buyers, investors, high equity, people who are renting with the financial means to own anything like this. So a lot of our power is in our predictive analytics because of that behavioral signal. And we can do something like go to likely sellers. I don't know if you want to give me a zip code, or I'll just make one up.
Yeah, go ahead, just make one up.
All right, we'll do 11747. We'll go to Long Island. Cool. They got a lot of snow. I'm sure they don't want to be doing any door knocking or anything like that.
Yeah.
So you've got 712 likely sellers in this zip code 11747. Now what you can do is start to really drill down. If you want to get super specific, a certain net worth or income, if they're actively looking for a job, if they're actively looking for a mortgage, a new home, a refi, if they have an assumable mortgage, children in the household, LTV, if it's occupied, owner occupied, we make sure that everybody has emails. So that's kind of our only preset. You can obviously turn that off. Phone numbers, really anything like this. We'll just, for a second go to, I don't know. We'll do age is between 45 and 70. We'll see if that changes anything. Recalculate, and then see 314. So you can take those 314, add them to contacts. What this is doing right now, once you create a list or add it to a list, it's actually saving the entire segment. So everything that you just filtered for, all of that criteria, you don't have to come back here and continue to do it. The segment knows what you're looking for and continues to add people every time the data updates, or we get signals or flags or updated data, puts them into this segment for you, which is really nice when you're thinking about orchestration layers and how busy most people are, especially SMBs or residential real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
So once you pull the segment, I'm just going to show you one that I've pulled previously, like South Lake, Texas. You get things like email, first name, last name, address, city, state, zip, phones, 123, marital status, age, children, income, property type, square foot, bed, bath, year built. You can see all the data that we have. Looks like this person's even got a dog. So, and one of the cool things is segment tags. So we'll actually take all of this data and build tags around those ICPs so you can really easily filter them. So whether you're uploading your own data or we're just getting our data, you have a really easy way to find, I think the best way to approach that individual. And this is hooked up to up to like 3,500 APIs. So if the data's not in here, if we don't have it in one of those 550 data points, very easy to get it from another source.
Very cool. So you guys have the ability to kind of reach out and have other connections added in or whatever it may be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very flexible platform.
Very cool.
And then once you have this, here are all the campaign templates, and you can all this is personalized, so it's all built out for you. Some of it needs a little bit of customization. Your language is always the best language, or your voice.
Yep.
You can set a follow-up email 7 days. Anyone who didn't reply, keep going for the next one. The next one, we've got a bunch of AI built in here um, to either put in your own prompt, make it shorter, make it longer, change the tone, improve the language, kind of like our magic incantation button, I guess.
Okay.
And then the cool thing about this, it's probably not going to let me do it because I have too many placeholders. Let's take them out.
It's cool that there's like the Ask AI to edit and generate and everything too. Like you can kind of continue to lean into it and or add in your own spin, like you said.
Yeah, this is a great time for my keyboard to crap out.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm not going to show you that functionality right now.
No
We'll stick
worries.
to things that only use a mouse. But you've got your segments in here, and then behind the scenes, we also have things that are changing language, just creating different versions of things. So you're not constantly sending out the exact same thing. Obviously, you can turn that on or off. And then everything gets batched, throttled, randomized, validated. So all the best practices around email that's landing you in the primary inbox.
Very cool. Very cool. My brain just went through and had a whole bunch of different questions that I wanted to fire at you here. So first, it's obviously super powerful that you have so many different data points and so many different connections. But thinking about it from, let's say, a newer marketer or person who's trying to attempt some of this outreach, I feel like it might be a little bit overwhelming. So what advice would you have for a starter in trying to decide what their ICP is and what targeting to use?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. And I think we typically have a tendency to overthink these things.
Yep.
And, then we end up in a place where it's like paralysis by analysis. And
Yep.
and that's the worst place you want to be. It's like, as a business owner, you're always striving for perfection. And oftentimes that's what's stopping you from any type of growth.
Yeah.
So, as a marketer, you're like, you gotta constantly iterate and try things. And I think one of the beautiful things about a platform like Scout is that we have these ICPs built in for you. So, it's not so much, well, how long have they been living there? Is that even, a determining factor? Or how much income do they have? Or what are their interests and hobbies? Or how old are they? How old are their kids? And like, there's thousands of things that can go into creating this ICP. This is really like ready, aim, fire. You literally just have to like know where to point it. Are you looking in a zip code, a city, a state, or a geog? And every industry is going to be a little bit different,
Yep.
but we make it really easy to find the exact type of person that you're looking for.
Very cool. I am going to ask you a question that I personally get annoyed when I receive it, but I think a lot of people do ask this, so it's important to throw it out there. So, is there kind of a recommendation that you have in terms of list size as well as the success of a campaign? Do you say like I only need like make sure you have at least 100 emails out there before you judge it or anything like that? I
That's such a
like to
great
focus
question.
on the ratio efficiency metrics and stuff like that versus volume. But a lot of people do ask that, so I wanted to throw it out there.
You know what? When it comes to email and when it comes to what we do, this is a really important question to ask.
Yeah.
And the truth is, it varies by industry. Um, but I'll give you two examples. Like we have one customer, he sends about, I don't know, 30,000 outbound per week. And for
30,000
him,
emails or 30,000 individuals?
30,000 individuals.
Okay.
So for him, that's the right size, right?
Yep.
120,000 people every single month, because that's essentially the universe of the people that he can reach out to based off of the trigger point. So right person, right time, right message. It's 120,000 people per month. That is his ICP. So he fully saturates it.
Mm-hmm.
And we enable him to do that. With somebody like a residential real estate agent, they can't handle more than 350 per month.
Great point.
So why 350? This is a number that we've kind of calculated for this industry as being the right number to start off with as an individual. If you don't have systems and processes in place to handle this, you will get very overwhelmed very quickly. So you take a couple of numbers into account. One, SMTP versus IMAP. Are you sending from Google, Microsoft, or SendGrid? If you are sending from Google or Microsoft, you do not want to send more than 70 emails per day.
Yep.
If you do, you're going to get flagged. The ESP is going to say, who's this person? What are they sending? Why are they sending it? And you'll end up in spam jail really quickly. So what does that translate to? Like, I don't know, 1,700 outbound on a monthly basis if you're sending
Yep.
through Friday, not on the weekends, respecting best practices. So, could you theoretically ramp up to 1,700 as an individual using one IMAP-based email sender? Absolutely. Once you get above that, you're in, transactional email territory. You got to use something like an SMTP, maybe it's SendGrid or Send SparkPost or Mailgun. Then you've probably got infrastructure. You probably got a team. You know how much your BDs can, your business development reps or ISAs or SDRs can handle, and
Yep.
it's that constant balance, right? Like we have another customer who had two salespeople. He needed to feed them, and we were lining up like 35 new meetings a week for that team based off of sending out, I think it was like 3 to 5,000 per day. So there's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
And it's part technical, it's part process, it's part industry specific. So not an annoying question at all. I think a really good one.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think about it from I'm a like an ads guy, and it's like, well, how much should we be, spending or like this kind of stuff? It's like, well, we got to do some research and let's not focus on impressions. Let's focus on click through rate, like that kind of stuff. So that's where my head always goes.
Well, you get number one, you get diminishing returns. If
Exactly.
if you don't have a system or process in place to convert those leads, right, your CAC is through the roof, even
Yep.
if your CPA is really good, right?
Yep.
You can have like a great CPA, CPL, translate this to like your marketing language. Um, if you don't have the right mousetrap, if you can't convert, you're just throwing money away.
Yes. 100%.
So, don't hit scale immediately. I mean,
That's right. There is such a thing as scale too fast, for sure. For sure. So when you were kind of walking through the demo there, you had mentioned, oh, look, this person has a dog.
yeah,
And I'm curious if you've seen anybody win in their campaigns from kind of an interesting, I call it interesting, a segmentation like that. Like maybe like you look for dog owners, be like, hey, we have this beautiful yard type of thing. Have you seen anything like that off the top of your head that maybe isn't your quote unquote normal campaign?
for sure, for sure. I mean, we have interesting clients. We have a client that builds catios. I don't know if you know what those are, but for wealthy people who have cats, they build patios.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay.
Right. So they're looking for dogs or cats, and in the residential real estate industry, they jump on some really obscure statistics. They're always throwing events and hosting like, I don't know, like dog walks and coffee or something like that.
Okay.
But there's some really interesting platforms out there right now, and I think in terms of marketing, especially email marketing, what they will do is ingest a ton of data, and they'll say, okay, how old are they? How many kids do they have? Do they have a dog or a cat? What are their interests and hobbies? Do they like hiking, skiing, biking, kayaking? Are they into sports? And they'll take all of this information, they'll feed it into an AI model. The AI model will spit out a recommended campaign within the structure of what they're reaching out about, but the language will be different. The images will be different. So if you're targeting somebody young, maybe it's got a young family. If you're targeting somebody a little bit older, it's somebody who's maybe retirement age. So I think you're starting to see people experiment with these platforms and data points, and it's gonna be a wild world, right? Like things are
Oh
getting
yeah.
hyper personalized.
I mean, like I said, my marketer hat went on, and I just immediately was like, oh yeah, specific language to the dog owner, specific language to the senior. There's so much that you can do to slice and dice it, and make it even more personalized and of course powerful and effective. So very cool to see it kind of all come together. So I do want to shift slightly here to talk about AI, and where it's fitting into the platform and even just real estate in general. So I think you mentioned early on that it can be scary. So I'm curious if there's a biggest misconception that real estate agents might be seeing when or thinking about when AI comes up that you might want to like dispel or anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions. And I think in residential real estate in particular, it's a very, very antiquated industry. And the people who excel don't necessarily have that skill set or knowledge. They're typically older. They've typically been doing it a certain way. They don't want to change it. They really feel like AI is this thing that's supposed to replace them. And
Right.
yeah, the saying goes in the industry, AI will not replace you. But somebody with AI will replace you.
Right.
Right. And we've been hearing that for a long time. But what does it actually mean? Right. Like, I think in the beginning, everybody was using AI as like a listing rewrite tool. They would just write their listings using AI. And I think what people are starting to realize now is, whoa, this can be a orchestration layer. This can be a targeting layer. This can be a content generation layer. This can be a code layer. This can be, something that helps you respond to emails, keep your day organized. And there are a lot of innovative companies. I think most of them come outside of real estate and then go into real estate. I see a big shiny TAM and think like, okay, we can go disrupt this or make it better. But where you really have to meet people where they live, and so much of real estate is relationship based.
Yep.
That
Very much so.
I think the biggest fear is that AI will replace the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would love to dispel is, for this industry or any industry, is AI is not here to disrupt the relationship. It's to strengthen the relationship. There's a law. It's called Dunbar's law. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. Is
Not familiar. No.
I think it's Cambridge or Oxford professor who came up with this theory that like you can only have 157 close friends, like close contacts, people and
Okay.
and like after that, your brain starts to turn to mush, and you can't remember things about people, right?
Sure.
But with AI, with the right data, with the right incantations, you can increase that number exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
So AI is not here to replace relationships. It's here to enhance them, I guess is probably a good one to hang my hat on.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. My whole slogan, if you want to call it a slogan, is human empowerment, right? It's going to make you be able to focus on the relationship stuff, the stuff that you're passionate about, the stuff that you're good at, whatever it may be, and take away some of the minutia, the time-sucking activities, the things that take you away from revenue-driving, actions, whatever it may be. So,
here, let's turn a question back on you. How many things did you outsource to AI this week that you absolutely dreaded doing? Like, how many frogs did AI eat for you?
I will answer that question by just saying it is becoming more and more by the day. I have spent all of Q4. I've broken down all of my internal operations, and I'm automating each one per week.
Yeah.
And some of it's content creation, some of it is follow-ups, some of it is our prospecting campaigns. All of it, it's just day by day, case study creation, week by week. So to answer your question, it's like 95% of my tasks we're getting to. So that I can do this kind of stuff. I love having these conversations. I love the podcast. I love connecting with different people and building packages and marketing strategies and things like that. So now I don't have to worry about maybe a little bit of content research or following up with a form fill or something like that.
Yeah. So there you go. Dunbar's law in effect. I think he'd be proud, right? We can now connect on a deeper level because
100%.
because we're able to outsource the. Can I curse on this podcast?
You absolutely can. Yes.
Let's outsource the bullshit.
That's right. That's right. I actually am in the process of trying to automate some personal stuff too. A fun analytical experiment I'm trying to go through is understanding the best players by value for my dynasty hockey league to see,
There we go.
yes, exactly. So we're getting into the personal realm and fantasy and everything like that. So it's very fun stuff.
I think in my sports betting days, when I was like, a power bow dog user, uh,
Yeah.
I would be having a field day.
100%. 100. I was thinking about this literally earlier this week. Like, I wonder how Vegas is using it because they were good even before AI, right? Now that they have this kind of stuff, how is Vegas using it? It's got to be
Yeah,
cool.
it's crazy. I mean, you see all these sports lines, and they're just getting tighter and tighter.
Yeah.
I would actually love to see somebody do some sort of like regression analysis or just like backward looking to see how these lines have gotten either tighter or looser with AI models.
I agree. I agree. That'd be a fun experiment. All right, we can go down the sports AI rabbit hole for a while here, but I'm curious from your perspective. Again, we talk about some new people, how they might use Scout and build a campaign. Let's just talk about AI in general. Do you have one tool that you would recommend to someone? Like if you're just trying to dabble in AI, what would you recommend playing around with, and kind of how would you use it initially?
It's such a boring question for me to answer.
Yeah,
Because I think ChatGPT is just it's the easiest.
yeah,
I personally bounce between ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude,
yeah,
and it's like battle bots. Like I make them go at each other and throw like here's what my data team told me, right?
yeah.
What do you think of this? Um, and then once you've gotten to like a place where you're comfortable interacting with AI and you kind of know how it responds or the right way to frame questions, right? Then you start to build it into processes.
Yeah.
Then you start your orchestration layers. Then you start your content generation. And then you start your meaningful outreach or like, automating anything in a platform like N8N. So if you're getting started, just go to ChatGPT and mess around and figure out what you can do. If you're a power user and you're starting to, change your platform or your service or you need real automation, N8N is, make.com are great. If you're like, hey, I've got to like build an app. I'm Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. If you can dream it, you can do it. You're gonna I guess Replit and Lovable and
Yeah.
platforms like that. We've built entire apps and platforms that we are in production with. Customers have been onboarded and fully self-servicing entirely on Streamlit.
Very cool.
And I've got about 1,000 more. I would say GenSpark is an amazing one if you're looking for decks, like PowerPoint presentations.
Okay.
Also Gamma. Gamma is wonderful for the same. Just an alternative. Uh, yeah, I got a lot of them.
Yeah, you can definitely go down the rabbit hole. But I think to your point, if you just kind of go to Gemini or ChatGPT and even ask, what AI is there for this? I think there's even a website, there's an AI for this or something like that. But
I'm sure.
um, yeah, there's that's great. I'm curious. So internally, have you set a philosophy, for lack of a better word, at Scout for how to use AI or when to use it, when not to use it, how to use it, things like that? I'm curious if you have something kind of built into the culture there at Scout.
Yeah, 100% we're AI first.
Okay.
AI first everything. If you cannot find the answer using AI, flag it internally and raise it. And if you are not using AI, consider yourself banished. It
Fair enough.
it is absolutely mandatory and it is part of your day and part of your skill set to learn how to utilize AI because if you are not as efficient as you can be. So
Point.
so yeah, if you're not using AI and heavily relying on it, I think at this point, like 75% of our new code base is coming through AI.
Okay.
Like, you know, you
So
can find the door.
yeah, fair enough. I love that. I love that. I mean, you got to use the tools. To your point, you're going to get replaced if you're not using AI. So, is there, from your perspective, a such a thing as over reliance on AI? Is there kind of like a checks and balances that you think needs to be in there as well?
Yeah, yeah. Of course, everything. I want to say everything in moderation, but that's not true with this tool.
Yeah,
Um, this is the most powerful tool that we've ever seen in our lifetime, and
great.
you should be using it as such. But at the same time, um, I won't say over reliance. I will say redundancies.
Okay.
If your mission critical processes are built on the back of a single model and that model goes out, which is something that we saw with ChatGPT or OpenAI, like we were some of the first people using OpenAI before ChatGPT was even a thing.
Right.
And when ChatGPT came online, a lot of those API calls would just time out, and we had to have redundancies in there. And then you came into like the era of DeepSeek, right? And DeepSeek was the hot kid on the block for like a minute,
Yep.
and we couldn't use it because it was totally unreliable.
Hmm.
And I think you need to balance that. And if the question is going to like, brain rot, like does your brain turn to mush if you use it too much or you're over
Yeah.
reliant on it? There's some studies done on it, and I think they're probably valid. Um, but if you're using it as a tool and you know it's a tool, um, it's only as good as how inquisitive you are around it. So
Yeah.
you can up level your game, or you can turn your brain off. Right? If you're don't turn your brain off.
I totally agree, and I oversimplify it and equate it back to the day of like the calculator, right? In math class, like we don't necessarily need to be remembering our times tables anymore because you can, just use the calculator, right? So, is your brain turning into mush because you don't know 7 times 7 off the top of your head? I guess you can make that argument, but you have this tool even in our phone that's there 24/7 to be used. So, is it that big of a detriment? So.
Personal belief, it's there to make us smarter. It's there to up level our game. Like,
Exactly.
take those like rote, repetitive tasks that actually turn your brain into mush because you're not thinking, you're not challenging, uh,
Exactly.
you're not growing, and attack harder problems. And AI gives you the leverage to attack those harder problems.
Very cool. So let's final kind of question here, two-part question. Let's just kind of say Scout is at V1 right now. I'm sure you've had multiple iterations. We'll just call it right now V1.
Like V52.
Yeah, yeah. What does V2 look like with AI continuing to expand? And similar question, what does V2 of just real estate intelligence or real estate and AI kind of look like from your perspective in the next couple of years?
Oh man. So I was up on a panel talking about this one a couple of months ago, and I caught a lot of flack for my response. But I'll go to like a concept of human in the loop versus human out of the loop.
Okay.
And human in the loop is you need to be sitting in the middle. You need to be checks and balances. That's where we are right now. No
Yep.
matter how good AI is, you still need a human in the loop for the majority of your complex tasks. You cannot turn off your brain. Fast forward, I don't know, 6 months, a year, we're going to have out of the loop in a lot of things. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of talk about AGI. I don't know how close we are to AGI. 2 years ago, Musk said we were like 2 years away. So that puts us here now. And I think based on your definition of it, maybe there are people that are experimenting with it. We've certainly passed the Turing test. Um, but yeah, I think I went off on a tangent, forgot where we were going with this, but
You think in the future, like the next iteration is going to be human out of the loop?
yeah, I think it's going to be human out of loop, and I guess bringing it back to the original question of like where does Scout 2.0 go, and where does the industry go as a whole? Um, we are moving really into a tremendously data-driven world, and the data
Yeah.
is getting updated on a more frequent basis, and it's being tied to different data sets. And where we're truly focusing is the intersection of all of that data and all of those data sets, and then how to actually make it usable, and how to distill it from a universe down to an ICP, and why you need that data. So Scout 2.0 is really focused on the back end on the data models. And I would say where the residential industry goes as a whole is much more interactive and personalized. And I think thinking about real estate in a way that people have not thought about before. It's always been about location, location, location.
Yeah.
And maybe the fundamental location, location, location doesn't change. But
Sure.
the factors that go into it, which were dollar per square foot, or bedrooms or bathrooms or exposure, or um, you know, the house canary was like the first data player on the scene, and they could tell you like what your view was going to be. Uh,
Okay.
and like what's obstructed and how close are you to water. Like those things were kind of V2 of real estate data. Well, we're now moving into V3. How many of my friends live in the area? What restaurants do I love to eat at? And are there similar restaurants, or how far am I to work, or what does my commute look like? What do my taxes look like? It's going to take into account all of your lifestyle factors. And, forget about the way that we interact with a purchase or sale or a home in terms of like AR or VR. But I think you're going to see a lot of really, really interesting data points. Dog, cat, right?
Yep.
These are the things that we think about when we think about our home.
Yep. Commute to work, things like that. Yep.
Commute to work. I mean, when's the last time that I thought about how big my home was, the square footage of my home?
Right.
I love the layout and I love the utility of it. Um, you know, so and also like, do I have amenities in the area that can make up for something that I had to compromise on? So I think that this is the next iteration of real estate search, and it's 100% going to be plugged into all social channels, like your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, your LinkedIn. I think we'll be feeding a lot of data from those social platforms into real estate searches.
Very interesting. That's a great answer. I think that's very cool to be thinking about. And you make a great point. When you're shopping, you're like, oh yeah, this is X square feet. But once you make that decision, you don't think about that ever again. It's like, can I walk to this restaurant or something like that? It's very, very cool to think about. I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah, there's a lot of misplaced priority, I
Sure.
think, and it comes back to like, well, we do it this way because we've always done it this way.
Yep.
We don't
Yep.
have to do it that way anymore.
Exactly. Very cool. All right, Drew, we have reached the rapid fire section. I got 5 quick questions here for you. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. You have a genie in a bottle. You rub it, it comes out, it gives you one wish of an automated process just implemented right now into your business or your life. What does that look like?
I'm taking in my life. Find me like the best vacation at the cheapest rate and just book the tickets for me and send me there.
That is a perfect example. I love that. Do you have, for lack of a better word, a mantra or anything that you always come back to and then you continue to use when you need it, especially in like hard times or decision-making processes?
Focus on what matters.
Love that. Awesome. Got to prioritize. Do you have a dream person or organization you would love to partner with?
Oh, that's a great question. Uh, I failed the rapid fire.
No, there's no failing here. You're good.
I think Anthropic is just so ahead of the curve right now. So I would love to find a way to work with Anthropic in a deeper way.
Very cool. Very cool. Question 4. Do you have a podcast that you regularly listen to?
All in.
All in. Who's that by?
Jason Calacanis.
Okay.
So he hosts David Sachs, Friedberg, and Schmoff. It's
Okay.
VC focused. So Jason Calacanis was actually our first investor.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
And they cover everything from like AI, finance, politics. Great podcast if you guys aren't checking it out.
I'll have to give it a listen. Yeah, it's not one that's in my regular rotation. All right. And then number 5, what would your death row meal be?
Oh my gosh. New York strip, Kobe, probably American bread, beautiful medium rare, and like those 1,000 layer potatoes.
There you go.
Yeah. And we'll probably finish off with some creme brulee.
All right. Nice. You just got me real hungry. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Drew, we're at the open forum section here. Is there anything that maybe we didn't discuss that you're really passionate about and just want to get out there to the audience?
I think we covered a lot. I mean, I'm obviously very passionate about data and how we use it, and just making systems work for you.
Yeah.
So if there's a hard problem out there that somebody's struggling with, whether it's in the marketing space or not, there's so many applications and uses of data that power entire infrastructures and organizations. If you have one of those really hard problems and you know that data can solve that for you, or at least contribute to solving that, or improving it, I would love to talk. But make sure it's a really hard problem.
Yeah. There you go. You like a challenge.
Yeah, yeah. We so many of these things can already be solved by like typing something into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So I would say go there first. If you don't get a satisfactory answer, come to me. Let's make it work.
Love it. Very cool. Very cool. Well, Drew, I appreciate you joining. Anybody can check you out, Drew Fabrikant on LinkedIn. Do you have any other social channels that you use or people can check you out at?
Not actively enough. I got it blocked on Facebook a couple of years ago.
Nice.
Their 2FA kicked in and I never set it up. So unfortunately, yeah, hit me through email or LinkedIn.
There we go. They can also find you or Scout at trustscout.com. Drew, thank you again for joining the Brainiac Blueprint. If you don't mind, just look at the camera and say, stay brilliant, Brainiacs.
Stay brilliant, Brainiacs.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Drew.
All right. Thanks, Kyle.